Hello everyone, welcome to our baby sister reflection video, and this week we are going to talk about chapter 14 and 15. So first I'm going to talk about the promotion mix. So the promotion mix consists of a specific blend of advertising, public relations, personal selling, sale promotions, and direct marketing tool, and the company used to engage customer persuasively. So for advertising, it's any paid form of non-personal presentations and promotion of ideas, good, or services by an identified sponsor. Sale promotions is a short-term incentive to encourage the purchase or sale of your products or service. And personal selling is personal customer interaction by the firm sale or force of the purpose of engaging customer, making sale, and building customer relationship. Public relations or PR is building good relationship with the company various public by obtaining favorable publicity, building a good corporate images, and handling of unfavorable rumors, story, and event. And finally, direct and digital marketing is engaging directly with carefully targeted individual, consumer, and customer community to both obtain an immediate response and build lasting customer relationship. So each category involves specific promotional tools that are used to communicate. Next, I'm going to be talking about integrated marketing communication. So in this part, I'm going to cover two sections. The first one is the new marketing communication model, and the second one is the need for integrated marketing communications. So for the new marketing communication model, several factors are changing today in the marketing communication. So first, customers are changing. They are better informed and more empowered. And also, marketing strategy are shifting away from traditional mass marketing. And finally, communication technology is changing the way company and customer communicate with each other. So the Clean Happy campaigns, they use zero ad in traditional media. Instead, the centerpiece of the campaigns was brand video air on YouTube only and on Facebook page. So they benefit from social media type word of mouth, and by using social media they save a lot of money, and this marketing form also matched their brand as well as their budgets, which is great. So in the modern world, new media format let marketer reach smaller community of customer in more engaging way, and as the marketing communications environment shift, many marketers view themselves more broadly as content marketing manager, and they create, inspire, and share brand messages and conversation with and among consumer across a full mix of paid, own, earn, and share channel. So these changes come together in the need for integrated marketing communications, or so-called IMC, which involve carefully integrating and coordinating the company's many communication channels to deliver a clear, consistent, and compelling messages and organizations and its products. So the IMC recognize all the touch points where the company and customer meet and tie together. So in the center, there is going to be consistent, clear, and compelling company and brand messages, and surrounding it is all the touch points. So for advertising, personal selling, public relations, direct and digital marketing, and self-promotion is all tied together in integrated marketing communication. And finally, to help implement integrated marketing communication, some companies have appointed a marketing communication director to develop effective marketing communications, which is going to be talked about in the next part.
How can we develop an effective marketing communication plan? First, we'll need to go through the process of communication. As you can see, the process begins with the sender and ends with the receiver. The sender is going to encode the message and then transmit it via a media platform. The receiver is going to decode it, or in other words, try to understand what the sender said and then give response and feedback to the sender. The whole process is distracted by an external factor, noise. Now that we have learned about the process of communication, we should turn to the next topic, step by step on how to effectively marketing communication. There are 6 main steps: identifying the target audience, determining the communication objectives, designing a message, choose the media through which to send the message, select the message source, and finally, to collect feedback. First, we need to identify the target audience. Who are we communicating to? The target audience will be affected by our decision on what will be said, how we say it, where we will say it, and who will say it. So, carefully determine who are we talking to before proceeding to other steps. The next step is determine the communication objective. What are we trying to get them to do? Why do we start a communication plan? It might be to raise awareness, to share knowledge, to make them like a product, to convince them into purchasing the product, or any other reasons. Already know what is our reason to communicate. We are going to design a message. In this step, we must decide on the message content, or what we want to say with them, the message structure and format, or how we can best convey our message. Our message in whole should be able to catch attention, to hold interest, to arouse desire, or to obtain action. Because we already know what to say, how to say, who to say, it's time to find out where to say our message. We need to choose our communication channels and media. There are 2 types which we can choose from: personal communication channels or non-personal communication channels. Personal communication channels are direct and one-on-one personalized interaction with people. For example, Amazon. The company uses data tracking to personalize and suggest products for the customers. Meanwhile, non-personal communication channels refers to mass communication that reach a wider range of customers. Whether the channels we choose is personal or non-personal, we'll still need to select the message source. That means who will say the message. We should choose a suitable and responsible spokesperson or communicator. For instance, if L'Oreal wants to hire a spokesperson, of course it wouldn't choose a rapper, because this guy may be famous, but he doesn't represent the cosmetic vibe of the L'Oreal. Instead, the brand would have to think of some other female celebrities. So, choosing the right spokesperson and communicator is very important. And finally, for the last step, we'll need to collect customers' feedbacks after implementing the plans. These might suggest improvements for our offerings in the future. For example, the retailer brand Macy's used television and newspaper advertising to inform customers about the store, the services, and events. And 80 of the people who see this ad visit Macy's store. However, it is reported that only 20% of the brand's buyers are satisfied with their experience. Therefore, Macy knows that it needs to improve the shopping experience.
Move on the next part, setting the total promotion, purchase, and mix. So, how does the company determine its promotional purchase? They have 4 common methods to set a total budget for advertising. The first one is affordable methods, and where the budget is set at a level the community can afford. The second is the percentage of sale methods. Then the competitive parity methods is like inside the budget to make the competitors. And the last one, the most difficult, is the auditive tax method, which is basic promotion on analysis of costing, communication, auditive, and tax. Now, with that budget, the company has to divide them among the tools to create a promotional mix. They are advertising, public relation, self-promotion, and personal selling. The new amusement park Funtown has spent most of the year customizing and fine-tuning their promotional mix. Let's take a look at each element that Funtown adopted to create an effective promotional communication program. One of the most important elements of the promotional mix for Funtown was the creation of a viable advertising program. Advertising is any form of impersonal, one-way paid communication in which the company is identified. Funtown realized that it's needed to have a good advertising campaign because it would allow the company to reach a large number of people effectively. The park the park used giant billboards and emails to reach other local customers. They promoted senior citizen discount, familiar discount, and grand opening special to lure the target market into trying a day at Funtown. Another promotional tool that Funtown utilized that was public relation. The main purpose of public relation is that it had built a positive public image for a company, supports new product launch and sales, has a company to evaluate public attitudes and communicated the overall goals of the company. Funtown has multiple days throughout the years where they donate a percentage of ticket sales to local charities. For example, if a visitor is entered on a ride, the public relations team must evaluate public attitudes and communicate it with the media the appropriate corporate response occur. Self-promotion is another tool in the promotional mix. It contains methods of stimulating consumer purchase and is usually based on a short-term or immediate goal. Examples of self-promotion items are contests, sweepstakes, giveaway, free sample, or couples. Funtown invested heavily in self-promotion. The last part of promotional mix is called personal selling. It is a purchase situation involving a personal pay for communication between two people with the end result being an influence of the individual in specific target market. Although Funtown does not have communicated a highly technical product, they have created a sales force that promoted the amusement park to businesses and schools. The sales teams try to book large parties, school trips to business events at the park. And the Funtown sales team look to develop long-term relationships with area school and businesses so that corporate and educational events can be booked at park. This led to large increase in profit. And for promotional strategy, company can choose between push and pull strategies. Push strategy is trying to boost the product throughout the channels. The producer promoted the product to channel members who then promoted it to final customer. Pull strategies is trying to create the demand that pulls the product throughout the channel, which the channels in the backward direction. However, companies must consider many legal and ethical issues with their marketing communication. They must avoid false or deceptive advertising and must follow the rules of fair competition. And therefore, companies must work hard together in an honest, open way with their customer and reseller.
Advertising is one of the 4P in the marketing mix is the promotion. And by definition, marketing is the process of buying advertisement to promote your business. There are many types of the advertising. You can use billboard, TVC, flyers, and social media these days. The only goal is to get the product images and value to persuade consumer for them to buy the product. There are four important decisions need to be decided when developing an advertisement program. First is the setting advertising objective. It's to help engage consumer and build customer relationship by communicating customer value, and there are three ways to do it. First is the informative advertising. It's used heavily in when introducing a new product. This type of advertising is used to show the customer information about the product, how to use it, the available support and services. Take these two Samsung fridges, for example. When they first come out,
the marketer will show mostly to the customer about the information of these. How big is it? How much electricity is going to use? So when competitor appears, the firm need to change their strategy into persuasive advertising. It's become more important as competition increase. This type of advertising is used to persuade consumer to show them how good is our brand compared to the others. Last one is the reminder advertising. It's important for mature products. It's help to maintain customer relationship and keep consumer thinking about the product. After determining its advertising objective, the company next set advertising budget for each product. This budget depends on the maturity of the product. If it's a new one, company gonna spend more money for it. On the other hand, if it's mature enough, they're gonna spend less. And there are three ways to do it. First, the strategy by which the company accomplish its advertising objective. It consists of two major elements: creating advertising messages and selecting advertising media. To the creating advertising messages. First, we need to break through the clutter. On a daily basis, a person can see up to 5,000 ads, and that was in 2007. That was 15 years ago. Now the number is estimated up to 10,000. Therefore, people tend to get numb with the advertisement. So marketers need to create a more attractive advertise to attract the consumer. To break through the clutter, many marketers have used a new way to implement their products into entertainment. It's called Madison and Vine. It's the merging of advertising and entertainment to break through the clutter and create a new avenue for reaching customer with more engaging messages. A brand integrations involve making a brand an inseparable part from some form of entertainment or content. The most common form of brand integration is product placements in some movies or programs. I take an example as Eleven in Stranger Things. She's walking out a store with many boxes of Eggo, and that product is facing straight into the camera, therefore advertise the product. Creating advertising messages. Next is message and content strategy. The message strategy is the general message that will be communicated to consumer. There's a concept in it that is called creative concept. It's compelling big idea that will bring an advertising message strategy to life in a distinctive and memorable way. Next is the message execution. There are different execution style, the approach styles, the tone, the way of using the words, and there are some style to use, but here I will show 9 of it here on the screen. I'll walk through it like a slide of life is normal people using a product in a normal way, or musical. It's like putting the product in the singing advertisement. The last part in the creating the advertising message is the consumer generated content. Many companies now using their own customer post to use it to advertise their product, like Starbucks using a post from their customer in holding a product of them. After creating the message, we move on to the selecting advertising media. There are 4 aspects here. First is reach, is the measure of the percentage of people reach in the target market. Next is the frequency, a measure to show how many times the average person is exposed to the message. The impact is the qualitative value of the message exposure to the consumer. Next, the final one is the engagement medium. There are many ways to engage the customer through many types of medium, like TV, phones, magazine, or even radio. Many have their own advantages, but also limitation. Example as a phone. When forming an ad on social media, its advantages is low cost, immediacy, but it potentially has a low impact on the consumer, and the consumer has the control of what advertisement they want to see. Take an example as Coca-Cola. They has a good advertisement about sharing a Coke with your friends, and therefore impact many people and create value for the brand.
Now, we will move on to how we evaluate advertising effectiveness and the return on advertising investment. So this part is essentially about answering the 2 following questions. Is the right amount spent on advertising, and what returns do companies get on advertising investment? To answer these 2 questions, we actually have to measure 2 types of advertising results. On one hand, we have communication effects, and on the other hand, we have sales and profits effects. So about measuring communication effects, it is essentially measuring whether the ads and media are communicating the ad message well. And to measure this, we have to evaluate the ads before or after they are run. So we have pre-evaluations, meaning that before the ad is placed, the advertiser shows the ad to consumers, asks how they like it, and measure message recall or attitude changes resulting from the ad. We also have post-evaluations, meaning that after the ad is placed, the advertiser measures consumer recall or product awareness, engagement, knowledge, and preference. Measuring the communication effects are quite easy to do because advertisers can simply turn to customers through surveys and other face-to-face interactions. But when it comes to sales and profits effects, this is a little more challenging to measure. Measuring this is basically measuring the extent to which ads and media capture customers in the forms of sales and profits. You have to know, though, that sales and profits are impacted by various factors other than advertising. So to achieve satisfactory rates of sales and profits, ensuring that the product has good features, price, and availability is essential. Advertisers can also measure sales and profits by comparing past sales and profits with past advertising expenditures. There are also concrete experiments that can be used, like diffusing different ads with the same ad message, which can help identify which strategies work best. All these elements combined play into the return on investment, which is defined as a net return on advertising investment divided by the cost. Now, we will move on to other advertising considerations because there are other factors that are relevant in the development of advertising strategies and programs, namely organizing for advertising and international advertising decisions. So regarding organizing for advertising, we basically want to know how will the company organize its advertising content and functions. Most companies actually do that with specific advertising departments, but they also call onto external advertising agencies, which are firms that offer marketing services and assist companies in planning, preparing, implementing, and evaluating all or portions of their advertising programs. And there are actually various benefits of doing that, like the fact that they employ specialists who perform advertising and brand content tasks better than the company staff, or the fact also that they are able to bring external perspectives and new ideas in problem solving. This is why advertising departments in large companies actually work with advertising agencies. Another consideration includes international advertising decisions. Considering the current context of globalization, most advertisers question whether or not they should adapt to unique characteristics of country markets, especially when most global brands today settle on standardized worldwide advertising. This is done by positioning a brand the same way all over the world, and there are various means used to strengthen this standardization. First, we have online marketing and social media. Most big marketing and advertising campaigns include a large online presence. Plus, we also see that global consumer brands coordinate their digital sites internationally. As I said before, global brands consider adapting to unique characteristics of country markets. So we often hear the phrase, think globally and act locally. This means that they've developed global advertising strategies that make their worldwide efforts more efficient and consistent. But also, they adapt advertising programs to make them more responsive to consumer needs and expectations within local markets. For example, Airbnb, a very popular global brand for housing, aims to create a world where all 7.5 billion people can belong anywhere. As we can see, Airbnb's standardized advertising is founded on how customers can belong anywhere. Airbnb's social media and website is actually the same no matter where you are, and same goes for the services. But there are actually differentiated local ads on platforms like Facebook, and hosts can be local guides for their visitors. And this shows that the firm thinks globally in terms of services and mission, but acts locally through Airbnb hosts and local ads. In fact, their most recent campaign, made possible by hosts, was launched after COVID-19, and it uses consumer-generated content with series of films using real photographs shot by photographers on real trips, staying in the homes of Airbnb hosts around the world. Again, this highlights how Airbnb thinks globally but acts locally. And so this is the end on major advertising decisions.
Nowadays, I will introduce to you public relations in marketing. Firstly, I will talk about the definition of the public relations. You can think that with the different name is PRs. We are building good relations with the company, various published by the obtaining favorable publicities, and it can building up a good corporate image and handling or healing of the unfavorable rumors, story, and event. So I have example for that. With the outbreak of the Ebola virus in the 2014, were critical as it was suppressed among many countries and took many lives. Google to help the people in need and build up a positive brand image status or donation campaigns where it's pledged to give $2 for every $1 donated to the cause through its website. The public relations strategy attracted the media attention and resulted to be a huge success as the Google raised $7.5 million. So the next one, I will introduce to you the BR may include any or one of the following function. With the function that the firstly press relations or press agency, creating and placing newsworthy information in the news media to attract attention to a person, product or service. Products and brand publicity, publicizing specific products and brand, public affairs, building and maintaining national or local community relationship, lobbying, building and maintaining relationship with the legislator and government officials to influence legislations and regulation, investor relations, maintaining relationships with the shareholders and others in the financial community, and the last one is the development, working with the donors or members of non-profit organizations to gain financial or volunteer support. So the next one is the role and impact of the BR. Public relations have the power to engage consumers and make a brand part of their lives and conversation. It can strong impact at a much lower cost than advertising, despite its potential strength. BRE occasionally described as a marketing stepchild because of its sometimes limited and scattered use. Because BR can be a powerful brand building tool, and BR has always been responsible for creating relevant marketing content. So the next one is the major public relation tools. So with the merger of the public relation tool, the firstly news, BR professional find or create favorable news about the company and its product or people, special event ranging from the new conferences and speeches, brand tour, and sponsorship to multimedia presentations and interest target public. Written material to reach and influence their target markets. Audiovisual materials such as video are being used increasingly as communication tools. Corporate identity material can also help create a corporate identity that the public immediately recognize. Logo, virtual sign, business form, and uniform. And company can improve public goodwill by contribute money and time to public service activities.
And that's the end of our video. Thank you for watching.